More than a year after COVID-19, Washington, D.C. is back in business. Capacity restrictions have been lifted in stores, restaurants, and museums, and other attractions in the nation's capital.
As of Friday, D.C. gave the go-ahead for most businesses to reopen fully and bars to move up to 50% capacity.
This is the first time I actually take my mask off in public.
Compared to other cities across the U.S., the district's response to the pandemic is regarded as one of the most robust.
Businesses tell me with reservations quickly filling up, they finally have a reason for optimism.
While its local economy may take a while to completely get back on its feet, there are plenty of good reasons why investors should seriously consider short-term renting in DC. This video is brought to you by Co-Hostit. Co-Hostit provides complete short-term rental property management services, from marketing to cleaner scheduling to issue resolutions. Number 1, financial indicators are positive. Much of the city's economic recovery is attributed to the presence and stability of the federal government jobs. Federal employment accounts for a third of salaries in the district, along with countless allied roles such as lawyers, political interest groups, consultants, and contractors. In 2019, Business Insider ranked DC 7th among the U.S. biggest cities with the most booming economies. The average weekly wage that year was $1,540, the third highest among the 30 biggest metropolitan areas in the country. The per capita GDP of $74,198 was the fourth highest. Last year, the city's GDP shot up to $208,000 a year and became the country's largest output. The average weekly wage of $1,669 became the highest. But another important sector that has kept the district afloat was the private business. Even though hundreds of enterprises were being wiped out by the pandemic, many new businesses were also being formed. The Washington metropolitan area, collectively and colloquially called the DMV for DC, Maryland, and Virginia, is home to the big private sector employees like Capital One Financial, Freddie Mac, Lockheed Martin, Deloitte, and Booz Allen Hamilton. The strong, diversified economy made the DMV ranked 14th among the most competitive financial center in the world by the Global Financial Centers Index. Federal labor, along with professional, business service, technology, hospitality, and tourism, is what the region has thrived on for decades. And while the last two industries were badly hit by COVID-19, they're seen to bounce back in the months and years ahead. Number 2, property values are rising. Washington, D.C. is regarded as a consistent, safe haven market in the real estate industry. It's been known to thrive during downturns and has been tagged recession-proof. True enough, the district has retained its place as the forefront of the national apartment market throughout the pandemic. Last year, buyer demand was very strong and days on the market were at all-time lows, as low as 7 days. In October, the median price of a single-family home crossed the $1 million mark for the first time in history at $1.1 million. That's a 24.2% increase from the previous year. Bloomberg reported a housing boom as DC neighborhoods see home prices rising by an average of 13% this year. And new development will surely affect the market. The sprawling new estates of Amazon HQ2 and Virginia Tech's Innovation Campus are located in the National Landing neighborhood. Together, these promise to bankroll at least 50,000 jobs and create demand for 15,000 residential units over the next several years. Meanwhile, the wharf at the Navy Yard is on phase 2 of development, with 255 apartments being readied. Number 3, rental vacancies are down. At the end of 2020, the rental vacancy rate in the district was at 5.9%, down by 0.4% on the year-over-year basis. That figure is well below the national average of 6.5, according to MashAdvisor, a real estate financial and investing advice company. Number 4, inventory is good. Multifamily investment properties, comprising over 62% of real estate options in the area, are particularly popular in the rental market. The DMV has always been a favorite among multifamily capital, especially pension funds, life insurance companies, family offices, and other institutional investors. New investors don't have to worry though. MashAdvisor says that the city's inventory matches the national average. In addition, the number of multifamily housing permits that have been issued far exceeded the projections. That means many more housing units are currently being constructed. Townhouses and condos are also in the mix. New listings of attached townhouses rose by almost 30% in October 2020 compared to the previous year, which is a 10-year high. Across the region, new listings of condos rose 49.2% year over year. Number 5, the workforce is competitive and formidable. DC is the 20th most populous city in the US with a population of 705,000. The DMV is the 6th largest metropolis with an estimated 6.32 million residents last 2020. If neighboring Baltimore is counted, the population swells to over 9.8 million, the third largest combined statistical area in the country. Among these, the white-collar, well-compensated workforce was already growing consistently before the pandemic. It earned DC the world's most competitive city title based solely on its talent pool. The covered title, as reflected in the Global Talent Competitive Index report, was given by the talent solutions and advisory company, the Attico Group. It cited DC's steady economy, dynamic population, outstanding infrastructure and connectivity, highly skilled workforce, and world-class education as the factors that made the city a veritable talent hub. The district was the only American city that made it to the top 5 of the list. It's joined by European cities Copenhagen, Oslo, Vienna, and Zurich. A vast number of DC's residents, about 61%, dwell in rental properties. Most of them are high-quality renters who can well afford to pay. In 2019, the median rent for a single-family home was pegged at $2,220. Because of the strength of the labor market, the metro area had the second highest median household income in the nation at over $92,200. The Loudoun neighborhood in particular posted the highest median household income at over $129,000. Number 6. DC is an all-time favorite destination. Not only did DC rank the 4th best city for young professionals to live in America this year, but it also topped the Condé Nast Traveler's Gold List for 2021. The online magazine editors cited the city's stunning monuments and museums, historic architecture, expansive parks and gardens, bars, restos, and entertainment as timeless and unmatched tourist attractions. The district also made it to number 5 on BuzzFeed's list of places to travel after the pandemic. Before the pandemic, domestic travel comprised 93%, or a whopping 23.8 million of DC's total visitors. That's up 4% from 2018, and a vast majority of them, around 63%, came for leisure, not business. While the numbers dipped to half of that amount after COVID-19, visitor arrivals for 2021 have quickly picked up to around 18 million. The baseline forecast for 2022 is a conservative 20 million, and the upside forecast is a more liberal 22 million. Number 7, hotels versus Airbnb. Short-term rentals still have an edge over hotels. While Washington, D.C., short-term regulations may be a bit prohibitive, many visitors still opt to book furnished vacation rentals. These are families, groups of friends, and a host of non-business travelers who otherwise couldn't visit if they stayed at hotels, especially if they came at a time where there's a lot of conferences happening and business travelers are in town. A mid-scale hotel room in the city center costs anywhere from $220 to $250 per night. By comparison, though, that price can already fetch a fully furnished 4-bedroom townhouse in the outskirts of the metro. Or for just $120, you could get a modern Airbnb basement apartment near Capitol Hill. Let's face it, short-term rentals provide amenities that hotels can't. A well-stocked kitchen, washers and dryers, wider living spaces, and free parking. We also know that COVID-19 changed the face of tourism, with so many tourists now traveling by car. Conclusion. The nation's capital is every bit as viable as other eminent top-tier cities in the US for short-term rental property investing. DC's population is a unique ecosystem of diverse renters with constant influx of government workers, lobbyists, service providers, and tourists needing transient shelter. Downtown areas near transportation arteries and hospitals will always be preferred, but the suburban properties away from the city center will be more affordable both for renters and investors alike.